Hi, greetings. Welcome to another episode of Evaluate. I keep saying evaluate, elevate. Maybe I need to evaluate my being. But this is Elevate Your Being. And you know what? I am so excited about the talk that we have lined up this evening. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I am reconnected with a wonderful woman. We have a friendship. Her name is Monica Douglas. Hi, Monica.
Hello,
Greetings.
Vanessa. Great to see
We're
you.
here at last.
Yeah. Nothing before it's time, darling. Nothing before it's time.
Before it's time, exactly. So let me pull up the screen. It's coming in a bit slow. Yeah. So, Monica, you're here to talk to us with a topic of footloose and fancy free. Reclaim your freedom and inner peace in relationships. It sounds absolutely amazing. So, you're a relationship coach. I'm just going to stop this share so we can both be on the screen together. So, welcome to Elevate Your Being. This is, I've called it a transformation summit, but I'm now playing with the words health and well-being series. So as you know, it's a series of talks, and I'm just so happy and grateful that you agreed to be with us here on the call. So do you want to give us a little bit of an introduction for those who don't know you? What is it that
Sure.
you do?
Sure. So I'm Monica Douglas. I'm a relationship coach and sometimes called a relationship freedom coach, really specializing in helping people who've had challenges in the relationships to either evolve into a new way of relating or to transform through a divorce or separation so they regain their energy and power and freedom after a relationship ending.
Oh, wow, that sounds absolutely amazing. And you know, when you talk about relationship, Monica, are you talking about the relationship that we have with ourselves as well? Because, you know, that's a
Absolutely.
very important relationship that we don't always get right. You know, sometimes we can be too hard on ourselves and not taking care of ourselves enough. So, do you cover that as part of your work as well?
It's at the core of any relationship that we have with others, is what we believe about ourselves, how we treat ourselves, how we speak to ourselves. Essentially, we can't, it's a bit of a cliche, but we can't love anybody at any level more than we love ourselves.
Exactly. And you know what I'm really excited about is the audience that we'll have listening to this and watching us. You know, they can have a listen on the MP3 version or they can watch us as we've recorded this. But these are women who are serious about their self-care, Monica. So, you know, this is what I really am focused on, getting that message out to women in particular. And then for myself, as you know, I work with mums, busy people who sometimes that self-care is not always a priority because there are other things going on. So I love that in your message.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's always a reminder that like self-care is like the foundation. And, if we can't do that, in terms of how we treat ourselves on a daily basis, we're not, we'd go to the next level, which would be self-nurture, where actually this isn't just a daily practice, this is a foundational way of being, and then into self-love, where
Ooh.
we've actually deepened into how we relate to ourselves in a way that we can love all parts of ourselves, both the shadow and the light.
Wow, that's really powerful. Gosh, so there's a lot more things that I need to learn in that regard. I love that. Okay, so this is exciting. Now, before I hand it over to you, Monica, in terms of, you know, really giving us the explanation of your talk and
Yeah.
educating us, I just wanted us to reflect. As I said in the introduction, you know, I regard you as a friend. We don't get to see each other in person that often, but you know, since we originally met, we have seen each other at networking events. We
We've
went
shared a
to,
bedroom,
we
Vanessa. Come
shared
on,
a
let's let's
bedroom.
let's be clear about
Let's
this.
be clear, you know, that was fantastic. We went to that event, the marketing event. You know, so I got to know you, and hopefully you got to know me a bit better then as well. So it's been a different kind of experience with you. So, I was so happy and grateful that you wanted to be part of this. And, for me, every time I'm around you, you take me to another level in things that I pick up and I learn and everything. So I do regard you as one of my mentors. So thank you. So
I'm
let's
so
just
delighted. Yeah. And well, I just want to say I'm really delighted because I feel that your message in terms of health and well-being and particularly working with mums is essential. It's like a really heartfelt, supportive offering that you bring through your very being and through the work that you do. And I'm here because I want to support you and the work that you do in the world to reach
thank
as many
you.
people as you can.
Thank you. And I believe that we're doing it now, but as you know, because this is a recorded series, the members are going to have lifetime access, Monica. So this is so exciting. And if you're listening to this and you really value the talks that you've heard already, then invite your friends to come in on this as well. So we can actually share this message and get it out in the world. So Monica, let's go back. I've dated it around 2018 when you did the talk. So for those of you who don't know, the Health and Wellbeing Cafe started as a live event in Nottingham. Monica doesn't even live in Nottingham, but again, she agreed to travel to Nottingham to give a talk. So, from that moment when you actually arrived in the car park, and it was a dark night as well, if you remember, you came out in the dark. I was so happy and grateful then. So you gave a talk. Do you just want to remind those who were there and maybe those who weren't able to capture that message what you touched on then, please?
Yeah, so the message right there was around really counting our losses, allowing ourselves to. So, counting our losses is like a curious blend of counting our blessings and cutting our losses, right? So, counting our blessings is obviously it's looking at what's happened in our lives, um, and thinking, okay, that maybe was very such beautiful things came out of it. So maybe we've had a loss and we've experienced the loss, and it runs through all areas of our lives. Like it could be a bereavement, it could be a relationship loss, we could get a redundancy, we could have lost some money or our home, something quite challenging that's happened in our life, very stress inducing. But out of it, somehow through the survival from that, we've received a blessing. And in order to do that, we often have to create enough time to see that, to move from a place of real challenge and to a place of actually I feel like maybe I could pull some gems from this. Maybe actually this has happened in a way that could help me to thrive in the future or have more empathy with others who've had challenge. And actually it turned out to be one of the best things that's happened to me, even though it was difficult at the time. So in the session that we had, we also did a practice where I gave everybody a finger labyrinth. So it's like a
That was
symbol
brilliant.
where we go into the center of ourselves, into the space that is silent in this moment. And we do it just by, and we can do it like now anyway, very quickly. Just imagine you had a spiral in front of you with your finger, and then you're moving from the outside
Mm.
into the center. Take your
Mm.
time, and then you stop at the center. Take 3 breaths. Really allow the out breath out. That's it. And then trace the spiral back out. Really, really simple, easy practice. And
I
then
love
release.
that. I love
Sometimes we
that.
just need to, and I love that because at the essence of that practice is we're releasing as we're going in. We didn't even have to be conscious about it, right? It's just like, oh, okay, We're
Yeah.
moving towards the center. We stay at the center and we receive a sense of, oh, okay, I'm present, I'm here. We might even get an insight. And then on the way back out, we're just returning, with whatever it is we received.
That is amazing. And the day I've had, because I came in the house like, and that's really just brought me down to where I need to be for this session. So thank you so much. So, okay, before you move into your talk, let's just talk about transformation, because obviously the health series, all the series of talks have left golden nuggets of transformation. Do you want to give us an appreciation of how your work helps with the transformation process, please?
Yeah. So, as a transformational leader, my whole essence is really about supporting people to move and grow. And for me, that's what move, grow, and be, actually. So it's be, essentially. I want to encourage people to be truly who they are. And in my work as a relationship freedom coach, it's about really using relationships as a catalyst for transformation and change. So whatever is happening, we're looking through the lens of a relationship, one that may not be working as well as we would like it to highlight what is it that we need to be aware of. That I'm going to go through in my talk about, it's like 5 stages of using a relationship as a way of reclaiming our freedom. Okay, and that's sometimes about staying in the relationship, right? It's not about necessarily leaving the relationship.
I just feel like I need to share at this moment. I'm coming up to a point in my life where, in terms of my relationship with my significant other, an amazing man, it's going to be 10 years.
Wow.
This month, November, is 10 years for us. And as you know, Monica, we were together and we were trying for a child, and our baby didn't come straight away.
Yes.
So we had, 8 years of what I would say, we were together, but we were like not single in the sense of available for other people, but we
Yeah.
did our own thing, that type of thing. We went on holidays, we went for meals out, all these different things. Now we've got this beautiful, amazing boy. He's just
Yeah.
absolutely incredible. But at the same time, the dynamics of our relationship has changed. We're in the house more because of the times that we've all lived through.
Wow.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
again, within that, we don't have childcare around us. My older offspring, my daughter's got her own beautiful girls, her own family. My son is not in the mindset at all. He's
Yeah.
24, for those of you who don't know, to be babysitting or any of that. My mum's got her own health concerns. She cannot help us out. Mark's mum lives in another country. So it's down to us. And I have noticed that our relationship has had strains. I'm not going to, I'm going to share openly on this
Yes.
call.
Thank you for your honesty around it. I think others will
So,
find that very powerful.
and I've been questioning, but I loved what you said, because we've even had a conversation this week, which is like, and I've not said it like this, but within me, within my being, I've said, no, I have to stay. This isn't about walking away because it's getting a little bit challenging or whatever, or things are different. I can't cope, so I love that.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Monica. So let's hear then. I've not even got my pen ready because I've been rushing in. So I'm gonna get
Okay, it's
my
time to get
pen.
your pen and paper
Yeah,
ready,
get my
people.
pen. Yeah, get your pen and paper ready. I'm turning it over to you, Monica. Are you using slides, or you just using notes?
No, I want to encourage you guys to listen, to feel, and then to write down what's your response to the 5 stages that I'm going to set out for you. Because for me, whether it's about evolving a relationship that you're staying in, or whether it's the relationship has ended and you're still smarting from it, or whether, you know, maybe you're in the throes of deciding. And this can be a romantic relationship, or it could be a friend, or it could be a family member. You're in that situation where things aren't as you want them to be, and they have to shift and transform for your good and the good of all. So let's just take a breath and just get yourself comfortable. And as we're here, I want to invite you to breathe out deep down into your hips and into your feet, and really into your grounded, most wisest, most powerful self. The part of you that's been waiting for this knowledge and you didn't even know it. So as you breathe out and down into that space, you're going to listen from a very expansive place where you're able to receive whatever are the gifts that want to come today, where you're able to really get the insights and the wisdom. I've already lit a candle for you, because if it brings up challenging emotions, I want you to offer those challenging emotions to the candle flame for transformation, so that you reclaim your energy around it. And that's the context of this talk, this idea of footloose and fancy free. Now, for most of us watching this, this is not the place that we're in. We're not footloose and fancy free. We've got obligations, attachments, we've got commitments that we've made to ourselves and others. I want to, in this talk today, to invite you to explore what would it be to be free, even to be yourself, free to be yourself, even in relationship, even with the commitments you've already made. If you were able to honor your feelings, honor your needs, and express them, so that your relationships could evolve to a place where you're able to be in integrity, you're able to be in authenticity, and you're able to meet your needs and those that you have for others. So if you have children, right? You've made a commitment to them, and your primary relationship, maybe with a partner, is going to impact on your ability to fulfill those commitments. So this is why it's really important, as relationships evolve, how do we manage our relationships in a way where we're free to be ourselves, in a way enough that we can shine, we can share our gifts, and we can be truly honest, and essentially be at peace. So I hope that introduction's giving you an idea of whether you're in the right place. So you can be in a relationship that you want to evolve and grow. You can be out of a relationship, perhaps wanting to invite one in, but know that there's stuff from your past that might be holding you back from doing that. You might be out of a relationship, separated or divorced, and there's still a little bit of angst that needs to be resolved. So if any of those scenarios are for you, you're in the right place. So I want to just say why me and what's this about. So I am incredibly passionate about relationships. I was in a marriage and a relationship for 27 years. During that 27 years, we had numerous evolutions in our relationship. So we started, and we first came together when I was 17, right? So a young girl. So that 17-year-old, very different to the 47-year-old woman that you see right now. And in those intervening years, I was absolutely passionate about making that relationship work. And we got married and we were very successful. We didn't have children. That's a long story. We had a long fertility journey. And I have angel babies as a result of that. But our relationship evolved over that time, and we did great things together. I'm very grateful for our love. And with each cycle, whether that be with a vow renewal or maybe some counseling or whatever it was to evolve our relationship, at some point, I was like, actually, I think this is complete. And we ran businesses together, everything was enmeshed. And to come out of that scenario in a way where I could feel whole and well and have the utmost respect for my partner was my reason for being. I really wanted to make sure that I was able to complete that relationship and feel like I'd done my best and that we'd done really well, which is where I'm at. Okay. And in between, there were some other relationships. If you're all thinking, but so I know what it is to have deep love. I know what it is to evolve a relationship and make it last. And I also know what it is to come out of a relationship and feel as though you've done your best and that it's completed in the best interest of you and others. And to do that work, I trained essentially as a relationship coach. First thing, I was using the process for myself. And I was trained by Catherine Woodward Thomas, who's one of my mentors and the author of Conscious Uncoupling and Calling in the One. So I'm a certified conscious uncoupling coach, which is the foundation of the work that I'm going to be sharing with you today. And as I say, this isn't just for people who have separated or divorced. This is for people who want to evolve an existing relationship and they're committed to the love in it. So this is why I did that work, and over 2 to 3 years, essentially, I did this work for myself and then trained in this work for others as my pay it forward, which is why I want to give you some of the key headlines of this work in this talk. That's what we're going to be doing. And I like to call it, rather than conscious uncoupling, because I think that's got its own, it doesn't always resonate, I think, with the British audience particularly. So for me, relationship freedom is what I like to offer this as, because it's freedom to be in or out of relationship. So there are 5 steps that I want to talk to you about today, and I'm going to take you through. We're obviously not going to be able to cover all of the details. Some of the practices, we're going to give you a couple of practices because I know it's important for you, Vanessa, that people have practical takeaways, and you're going to have 2, possibly 3 practices that I'm going to talk you through as part of these 5 stages. And know that if there's more and you want to know more and you want to go deeper, you can reach out to me at any time. Okay, so the first thing is find emotional freedom. So what finding emotional freedom is about giving yourself the time and the energy to really listen to how you're feeling, to really notice if there are any challenging, difficult, gnarly emotions that you're not allowing yourself to express. Because if those feelings go unheard, unfelt, they will erode your relationship anyway, if it's not eroded already. And they will prevent you from establishing effective relationships with other people because you've created a barrier between you and the love that you deserve. Because this is all about that. It's about allowing the love to flow freely. So we're going to do a practice for find emotional freedom now. And I want you to think about a relationship that you would like to evolve, where you know there's something that's getting in the way. And I want to invite you, as I said, I've already lit the candle, to allow yourself to acknowledge and name those feelings. So close your eyes, put your pen down, and think of that relationship that you're wanting to work on. And it could be a current relationship, it could be a relationship from the past, where you know there's a little bit of energy to it, a little bit of charge, shall we say. And as you are breathing in and out, allow yourself to ask. It's like actually lean back into your wisest self, and it's as though your wisest self is asking, what are you feeling? It's a very specific question. What are you feeling? And speak to yourself with an endearment. You know, it could be sweetheart, it could be your own name. So like I would be saying, what are you feeling, Monica? As though you're really leaning in. What are you feeling? And as you ask yourself the question and you allow the answers to come, mirror back to yourself. Oh, I can see that you're feeling whatever it is. So for example, I would say, oh, I can see that you're feeling anger, for example. And then ask yourself, once you've mirrored back, what else are you feeling? What else are you feeling, dearest sweetheart? Maybe what comes up is something like, I'm feeling unappreciated. And allow yourself to say, oh, I can see that you're feeling unappreciated. That's okay. And then ask yourself once more, what else are you feeling? And if it's a challenging feeling, just offer the feeling to the light, and know that what you're doing is acknowledging that you feel this way without judgment. It's an act of self-care and love. I'm feeling, I can see that you're feeling, and let yourself mirror that back. And then once you've acknowledged those feelings and named them, I want to invite you to ask yourself, what do you need? Oh, dearest, what do you need? And let yourself answer, what do you need? What else do you need? And before you do that, actually just mirror back so you're hearing yourself, because we don't often spend the time to listen. Oh gosh, I can see that you need, 15 minutes of alone time. Great, I can see that you need that. What else do you need? What else do you need, sweetheart? Just continue with this process. Knowing that you're not the only one who's ever felt these feelings or had these needs. There are people all over the world who have these feelings and also have these needs, maybe in different ways, but you are so supported, and there's others that can empathize with you. Take a breath in. Just be aware of all those who've ever felt this way or had these needs, and as you breathe out, just breathe out a blessing to them and yourself. Just allowing that energy to disperse and release, so it's not so concentrated. Beautiful. And you can come back to this practice. Just bring one, like your right hand to your heart, your left hand to your abdomen, just anchoring, balancing the body, letting yourself know that you are loved and you are cared for. And it's okay to have these feelings, and it's okay to have these needs. And then when you're ready, gently open your eyes and write down what you received. Beautiful. So that's step one, find your emotional freedom. And there's more to it, but this is a taste of the practice. And it's the very first practice. This is called the inner sanctuary. And it's an opportunity just to allow yourself to be with what is, and to practice being non-judgmental and supportive to that part of you. Step two. Step two is reclaim your power and your life. So this is where we decide to take charge of our relationships, to move out of a place of victimization. So we might find ourselves sometimes when we're thinking about our relationship with another, that they're doing all this stuff and they're maybe they do have some kind of personality disorder, right? Maybe they do have a tendency to be narcissistic. Maybe they do things that are really challenging, and that is their responsibility. So in this step, we allow ourselves to tell the story of how we've been wronged. We don't deny it, because sometimes we're living in that place, but it's from a point of view where we are actually going to then look at what is our part. When did we ignore our feelings about this being wrong? When did we allow somebody to do something without saying, no, actually, that's not right? Because that's the bit that we have control over. Even if somebody is behaving really badly, there's part of it that is in our control. And in reclaim your power, reclaim your life, that's what we're doing. And that's not to say, as I said, people act terribly. That's not to say that they're not doing bad behavior, but it's about what is in our control. Our control is our part, and it's a bit that we can change, even if that other person never does. So we're not going to do much work on this, but I want you to be aware of the story that you're telling about that person and how you are giving them all of the power. I want to invite you to think about reclaiming some of it and go, actually, what is it that I can do? What is it that I do that I'm not going to do anymore? And where can I get support and help to stand in my power and act in the way that I know is going to be the best for me and the others that I love in the long run? As I said, we can't do all of this work now, and it's very deep work, and this is why I've lit the candle, right? Where I'm holding us all in this space of knowing that this isn't easy. And yet, when we decide something's going to change, it will. So that's step two, reclaim your power and your life. All about going, what is my part and how can I bring that to the forefront and change my life for the better? step 3. Now, this is where it goes really deep in the process. And again, we're not going to go into the detail here because my thing is you need to be fully supported through this part of the process, because it brings up what we call in the work source fractures. It's like how we see ourselves, how we see others, and how we see life. And, for example, a very common source fracture is I'm not enough. So a lot of people talk about it, right? I'm not enough. Others don't see me or recognize me. Others undervalue me. And life is hard. So if we have some of these pieces that we actually hold as source fractures, and there's many of them, then we're going to be showing up in life in certain ways, in ways that aren't helpful. We're going to place ourselves in situations that would mean that we make ourselves right. We love to be right, Vanessa? So when we know that we hold these source fractures or these patterns, we can do something about them again. We can counter them with not just an affirmation, but a power statement, because a power statement is waking us up to the truth of who we really are. Because when we're in these source fractures or these old patterns, we're acting out often from a younger self that doesn't have the full knowledge. And if you think about that in relationships, if our 5-year-old is the one that thinks I'm not good enough, and every time something happens with our partner, with our friend, with our mother, that taps into that old belief, we go back into behaving like our 5-year-old. It's not going to end well, because we know 5-year-olds aren't very good at handling situations. Right? Or 2-year-olds really aren't really good at handling stressful situations, are they? They go, but I want what I want, Mom. So we've all got our little ones that are running the show in our relationships. And when we notice it's our little one, we can go, hey, come on. Big me can deal with this now. The truth is, like, you are more than enough, honey. You've got this. There are others in the world who see just how bright and fantastic you are, and life is always here to support you. Oh, suddenly we're back in the room. Back in the room. So that's step 3, break the pattern, heal your heart. Again, I didn't go deep into that because this brings up stuff for people, that stage. And when we do it and we have our power statements and we really allow ourselves to recognize those younger parts of us that have been running the show, we don't have to do that anymore. We can choose something different, and we can establish new patterns of behavior that really serve us and other people. That's step 3. Once we've done that work, we can come out of the other side, right? Because we've gone quite deep. Coming out of the other side to reclaim our freedom, we become love alchemists. So to become a love alchemist, we're going to see, again, we're in a very empowered state. And then in this empowered state, we realize that maybe something's got to change. And we're confident enough to have the conversations. And not only does something have to change, but maybe we have to make an amends for something that we now realize that we've been doing. And that might not be with the person, right? That might not be, the amends might not be with that person. It might be going forward. It might be, I'm going to do this in the future so that never happens to me again. So if it's a past relationship, that still has a little bit of charge, one of the things that we do is a soul-to-soul conversation with that person. So we don't meet them in person. We meet them at an energetic level. We light a candle, we invite them into the room, and then we say that which has been unsaid. We allow ourselves to express that which has not been expressed. We allow ourselves to say sorry if it's something that we need to apologize for. And we also get the opportunity to ask for perhaps an apology from that person and receive it at an energetic level. And it's amazing how this shifts things, Vanessa. It's amazing how it shifts things when we allow ourselves to speak that which has not been spoken, or to write out. I mean, for me, speaking it is incredible. And you're speaking it, and the energy of it is released from your body into the space. And it's like you sent a prayer, and you've sent that message to the soul of that other person. So it's out of your system. You're no longer carrying it. And I tell you what, I did this, and don't be surprised if you do this. And if it's somebody in the past, they suddenly get in touch with you because they know something's changed. And if it's your current partner, suddenly their behavior changes. But you know why? Because you've changed. You've changed, and they felt it palpably, and you haven't even had to have the conversation with them face to face. This is one of the most powerful techniques that I want you to take away and experiment with. So we've had the first one, which is in a sanctuary, and the second one is really, it's like a soul-to-soul conversation. And it's great if it's facilitated with someone else, because sometimes when you're doing it, it goes in at a different level if you know somebody else has witnessed it. You can see how that would work, right? So that's step 4. Becoming a love alchemist, in that we are really allowing the transformation to happen in us, around us, for the good of all. And then the 5th thing is to create your, in conscious uncoupling we call it, or relationship freedom we call it, creating your happily even after. So, you know, if we're letting go of an old way of being in an existing relationship, we have to create a vision for the new. And this is where we go, actually, how do we want it to be going forward? And we co-create a vision. You know, it could be with the God of your understanding, spirit, universe, nature. We co-create a vision, and we do a ceremony and a ritual, which actually brings that into being. So if, for example, you're evolving a relationship, it might be that you choose to have a vow renewal. And we had a vow renewal after 10 years, and it was amazing. And it meant we had another 5 years, right? So, you know, it's like, because we weren't done yet. So, and you know, if it is an old relationship, one that's already separated or where you've divorced, having a ceremony for yourself and making a commitment to the love that you want in the future is incredibly powerful. And it allows you to actually bring in that love in the way that you want and you desire. It's not based on an old vision of how it should be. It's actually on a new vision of how you want it to be. And then you move forward and allow that to happen. So that's step 5, that visioning process, creating your happily even after. So I hope this has been useful for you. The 5 steps: find emotional freedom, reclaim your power and your life, break the pattern, heal your heart, become a love alchemist, and then create your happily even after. I hope you found that useful. I would love to get your feedback, so feel free to connect with me and let me know how you're going.
Wow, Monica, that was just awesome. I have taken pages of notes here and I will be listening again. You've shared so much. You've taken, I mean, first of all, I really know there's no hope involved here. I am certain that the women tuning into this message will resonate with your, not even just the talk, but what you gave us at the beginning of the talk. I certainly resonated with that. I mean, there's just so much in here. So much. I don't even know. I don't even know where to start in terms of my own personal feedback. I mean, I want to say that just even going here, I'm just going to probably start with breaking the pattern. That, I mean, all of it was fantastic and really powerful, but I recognize that I acted like a child this week.
Okay. Kudos to you, Vanessa.
I acted like a
Kudos to
child this
you.
week, and then the next day I got my period. So I thought, oh, that's why I was so dramatic on like
Yeah.
this little tiny thing in the reality.
Yes.
But I love the fact where you kind of said that, you know, we can then talk to ourselves and say, hey, you know, I've got this. Actually, going back, what I loved about step one, finding the emotional freedom, was the mirroring. That isn't something that I've ever heard of. So it was really nice. And, you know, I will listen to this again and I want to do it again on my own and really go deep on that mirroring, because I knew what I was feeling. I was feeling hopeful. I was feeling unappreciated, but actually we had a confident conversation.
Great.
And I was feeling excited.
Wow.
So I was, what you said, like, how do you feel? I was feeling excited. And then I know that for us, where we are, we need to create a vision of a new relationship. And I want to tell anyone, because you've empowered us to be love alchemists. And my talk is actually about activating the alchemist within. But I want to share with you and the audience how I know that I brought Mark into my life by being an alchemist, by doing simple things like having, I've still got it in the living room, having the love statue, lighting candles, doing a dream board, you know, of the love that I wanted to attract into my life. So I did all of that and he arrived. And to be fair, before he arrived, I had a no, I can't remember if she did a tarot reading. I had some kind of connection with the woman who actually said to me, you are going to meet someone who's going to speak English with an accent. And then she said something else and something else, which I can't remember. And it was the English with an accent that I just couldn't get over, because I just thought, why on earth would I be with somebody who couldn't speak English? That part of me, she didn't say he couldn't speak it, she just said he was speaking with an accent. And Mark is Hungarian and he speaks English with a very broad accent. So what I'm saying is, for any of you who are where Monica said it right at the beginning, where you're inviting a new relationship into your life, then yes, be that love alchemist, because it really does work. You can evoke that love into your life. So I know that to be true. When you said about the soul to soul, I feel that I did that at the end of a significant relationship that I had, where, I mean, it wasn't as structured as what you said. It was probably with my tears and my thing, you know, but actually, yeah, exactly. I know that the next exchange, like you said, there was that energetic shift. And to be fair, I mean, it's my son's father, and we do have great conversations now. So in that regard, I definitely resonated with that as well. And the ceremony, I mean, you said about a vow renewal, and the only thing I'm thinking of is, gosh, we're not even married. We can't renew vows.
No. Like, this is the thing, Vanessa. You will have made agreements and commitments to each other. Whether you've done that formally or not doesn't matter. So this is also a piece that I didn't really talk about in my talk. It's a piece that comes in terms of the love alchemy too, because it's about recognizing what are the old agreements that
Okay.
we had, or what are the agreements that we had, and
Mm-hmm.
are they actually formed in the way that we want them to be, and what would the new agreements be,
Mm-hmm.
whether that's formalized in a marriage or not, doesn't matter, but to explicitly say, I'm agreeing to be with you, to raise our child, to love you, to
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, right? So when we form those agreements consciously, it makes all the difference. And it doesn't matter,
Fantastic.
I'm an interfaith minister, right? So I,
Yeah,
I hold
exactly.
weddings and vow renewals and commitment ceremonies. It doesn't really matter what it's called. The
Mm.
energy between the links and the agreements is there.
I think
And
we
whether
need to
you
do
acknowledge it
something.
or not, well, literally, if whether you acknowledge it or not, it's there. So why not form them in a way that is purposeful, that is intentional, and that really allows you to have those energetic connections in a way that really serves you?
And really is special. And I wanted to go back to number 3 again, where you said, I am not enough. It's very interesting that we've had Susie on, who her book is called You Are Enough. And I know
Yes,
that's something that she's gifting as part of her
beautiful.
offering here as well. So that will really complement. And then you spoke about when sometimes we tell ourselves life is hard. So I wanted to touch on that because, again, it really resonated with me because the last session I did was with Helen's sound healing, which is calibrating the affirmations, the I am affirmations to sound. And in that session, so for those of you who've had a chance to watch that, you know that that was based on my I ams. And one of the I ams that I came up with, if I probably can't even find it quickly, but it was I am fully supported, something like that. So again,
Mm,
what you said there resonated with me. So I feel that, that section 3 has been something that I obviously need to work on because I've lived it. It keeps coming. I definitely acted like, I mean, it's just come in, to be fair, to do something in the washing machine. I've definitely acted like a child. And then in that, what was the story? So you encouraged us to tell that story from the perspective of your part.
yeah,
So it was just absolutely incredible, absolutely incredible. So thank you so much, Monica.
you
So
are welcome.
what I want to ask then, you've shared so much with us. If you did invite any of the viewers, if they want to go deeper on this, to obviously get in contact with you. But do you have a course? How can we learn more from you, if from what you're
Yes,
doing?
fine. So I know that you're going to put a link to the wild
Yeah.
wisdom. So one of the things that I like to do, we started off with accessing emotions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is encourage people to come and be with me and move with me in what I called wild wisdom groove. So it's a movement practice, but it enables you to get really in touch with your emotions and how your body's feeling. And it's really interesting you talking about creating your happily even after, right? The other thing that I do is these calling in the one circles, where for people who, really want to invite more love into their life. And as I said, we started with, it starts with us, right? So how much can we love ourselves? I hold these circles and I invite people to apply to come to those. And one way in which you can get involved is by having a virtual herbal tea with me, because I love
Mm,
speaking to people.
mm,
And I'll put the link to that below as well.
mm.
So people can work with me one to one on really emotional in relationship freedom, or come and work with us on it's clearing the way for love circle.
I know many of the women that I'm connected to, they're probably scrambling to get that done because that's something that we talk about. I just wanted to share this card which came
Oh,
through. It was literally the next day when I was journaling. Relationship harmony, Archangel Ragul. So, you know, what I love about the talks is you've all blended in to each other so perfectly. And I know, like I said before, I'm so certain that the viewers of these wise talks will take something from all of you and see how it all comes together. And as you said right at the beginning, you know, the relationship with yourself is the most important relationship. So, Monica, it's been absolutely incredible. And all I can say is thank you. I can't, you know, when I've listened to these talks and really, you know, it's been something that I know that I'm learning from, I can grow from. And I love the fact that, as you said, your work is also for those who are together, but they want to evolve and grow. Oh, actually, I did have a question about that. Do you work with couples in that regard, or is it just the individual?
Yeah, so my thing is we work with the individual, so I could work with one half of the couple and the other one would work with someone else because my
Ah,
experience, I mean, I've had um, couples counseling, I've had relate and things like that, and they work for some people. My real observation is when we do the work for ourselves and then come to a relationship having done the work individually, then the work that you do together is so much more powerful. Because what I found often with couples counseling is that there's usually one that's more engaged than the other, and both parties need to do their work because you can never if you've got a cart with one wheel that's turning and the other isn't, yeah, just go round in circles.
that is just fantastic, because another question that I want to ask is, and you kind of touched on it in that answer about one probably being more willing to go forward. This is really connected to a podcast I heard this week where it was a man who's a coach, but he said most of his clients are women. And then the interviewer said, well, oh, why is that? And he said, well, in my experience, I'm finding that women are more open to receiving this type of support and wanting to do that work. So the question that I want to ask is, for men who want to do this type of work, are there a lot of men who do relationship coaching?
There are some, but there aren't a lot. And
Mm,
it's indicative because most of the people that come to this work have come to the work through doing the work, right,
yeah,
for themselves.
yeah,
So it's hard. I mean, I'm really passionate about um, working with men. I've had a lot of male clients actually
okay.
who've wanted to improve their relationships or who've been hurt and are reluctant to actually be able to move forward. I had one client who his partner had already done the work with me, and um they were just forming a relationship. It wasn't, they hadn't been together long, and
Mm,
she'd said to him, this is what I desire in a relationship, but I feel that you have some pain around your past relationship that's going to prevent us moving forward. So would you be willing to do this work in order for our relationship to thrive right from the beginning?
mm.
Now, you have a little bit more leverage when you've just started a relationship than when you're later in the relationship. Shall we be honest about it?
Yeah, let's
But
be
when,
honest. Rose tinted glasses.
but that is the time to ask, right? And
That
say,
is true.
would you be willing to at
Mm,
least read this book? Like conscious uncoupling is a very powerful modality, right? It's,
mm,
you know, um, and it seems like a weird thing to do at the beginning of a relationship, but essentially it's allowing that person to not carry, it's allowing you to not carry any baggage from the past into the new relationship,
mm,
because it will repeat itself if you don't deal with it, which is why I was really happy, Vanessa, when you were saying how, well, I had the soul to soul, I had the conversation and it shifted
mm,
the energy of my previous relationship so that we can still raise our son and we can have good
mm,
conversations now.
mm.
Hello, result.
Absolutely. And also, I was thinking, conscious uncoupling, I heard this term coming through with
Gwyneth
Chris
Paltrow.
and Gwyneth.
Yeah.
Is this the same thing then? Is
So
it?
she brought it into the lexicon. Catherine Woodward Thomas had been doing this work for a long time.
Mm,
They used it, and it, for me, it's great that it came out, but I think the downside of it coming in that way was that people thought, well, that's okay, it's all right for them, they're rich, wealthy, and whatever, right? They can do this conscious uncoupling because they got all the time in the world and they've got all the finances and stuff. But no, that's why from me doing it, for me, I was like, oh man, this is such a powerful modality. It really brings freedom. It brings freedom to evolve a relationship that we want to keep. It
mm,
brings freedom to release a relationship that is complete. And it brings freedom to let go of relationships from the past that are holding us back from having the love that we want.
mm. And I can definitely see how you can actually adapt this to different
Yeah,
relationships in your life, you
definitely.
know?
And yeah, and when you start looking at familial relationships, maybe you're estranged from your mum or your
Mm,
sister or whatever, right? It's like, let's look at it. Let's allow ourselves. Oh, first thing, find emotional freedom. Oh, what am I actually feeling about my relationship with my mum?
mm,
Ooh. And when you allow yourself to do that, you're like, gosh, I hadn't even listened to that part of me.
mm.
It's been 30 years. I haven't even listened to the part of me that was feeling neglected. You see?
Yeah, and
See the
you may find that the split has come because one part of that relationship was coming from this childish stance, like you said, and things just spiraled out of control.
yeah, it was at that point, right? You were only 3 when you were feeling neglected, and the rest of your childhood was fine, you know. But
Mm,
somehow, somewhere deep inside was this thing that said, actually, I'm not safe here.
yeah,
And then for the rest of your adult life, you're behaving in a way that is, I'm not safe.
yeah,
Others
yeah.
don't look after me, and the world is a scary and difficult, scary and dangerous place.
Mm,
Can you imagine if you hold that as a source fracture? How are you walking around in the world? You're waiting for something to happen, right?
yeah. I've come across many souls where you can just feel that even as they start to speak and you start to tune into their energy, you can feel that there's something quite deep that's,
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Maybe you don't know the details, maybe you'll never know the details, but you
No,
can feel it on an energetic level.
exactly. And
Mm,
once that shifts for that person, how they show up in the world changes,
yeah,
and how they're received by other people changes.
yeah. That's why I love what you said. It's the relationship freedom. Well, Monica, you've taken me on a journey of self-discovery. And I know, like you said, that there's more that can be done in this area. So thank you so much for sharing those highlights, giving us a different perspective and helping us to grow and evolve as we go through our own transformation journey. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Vanessa. It's been an absolute pleasure to support the summit, or the what are you calling it now? The
I
health and
think I might call
well-being.
it Health and Wellbeing series.
I like that. The health. It's been a real pleasure to support the health and well-being series, and I know where you're coming from, and that you're really encouraging your people to take that time for themselves, take time to reflect, look after themselves, love themselves, and take health and well-being as a priority.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you so much, Monica.
You're welcome, love.
Yay.